a billionaire investor, Daniel Morgan, sitting alone in his $50 million New York penthouse. No noise, no people. Just the faint hum of the city beneath his glass balcony. On the table lies his phone, flashing. Stock market hits record high. Daniel Morgan earns $42 million today. But Daniel doesn't smile. He turns off the screen and stares into the darkness outside, where a small, trembling stray cat curls up under a table, shivering in the December wind. That night, something inside him changed, and that fragile, hungry cat would end up saving one of the richest men in America. Not from poverty, but from emptiness. Daniel Morgan wasn't just rich. He defined Wall Street. People said his brain could predict market shifts before algorithms could. He built his empire from scratch, starting with a $10,000 loan, turning it into billions before he turned 45. He owned jets, islands, luxury cars. But what he didn't have was peace. Divorced twice, estranged from his only son. His days were filled with meetings, his nights with silence. The higher he climbed, the lonelier it got. He had power over people, but no connection with them. And every night, staring at the city lights, he wondered, why does success feel so empty? That cold December night, Daniel noticed movement on his balcony, a small grey cat, wet and trembling. "Where did you come from?" he whispered. The cat didn't move, just stared, eyes wide with fear. Daniel sighed, turned away, and poured himself another drink. But something tugged at him. He went back with a towel, gently placing it near the cat. At first, she hesitated, then curled up on it, purring weakly. Daniel watched in silence, a strange warmth spreading through his chest, something he hadn't felt in years. The next morning, she was still there. Daniel left milk in a bowl. That evening, he found it empty. The pattern continued. Every night, she returned. And slowly, he began talking to her, softly, awkwardly at first. He told her about his failed marriages, his regrets, his fears, how money had made him powerful, but also blind. The cat never responded. But somehow, Daniel felt heard. In her quiet presence, he found comfort. Something about her trust, fragile yet real, broke through the steel walls he had built around his heart. Then came the storm. Snow covered Manhattan, and the wind howled through the skyscrapers. Daniel stood by the window, unable to focus on his reports. He was thinking about the cat. Hours later, he spotted her outside, struggling through the snow, limping, barely moving. Without a second thought, he ran outside, scooped her up and carried her in. He wrapped her in a blanket by the fireplace, whispering, "You're safe now." That night, he didn't think about markets or money. He just stayed awake, watching her breathe. He named her Whiskers. Days turned into weeks. She became his shadow, following him from room to room. He cancelled meetings to feed her, laughed when she knocked papers off his desk, and played piano softly while she slept nearby. His assistant was stunned. "Sir, you're skipping a $50 million meeting for a cat?" Daniel smiled. "She gives me more peace than that meeting ever will." For the first time in decades, he felt something money could never buy: joy. One evening, as he played with Whiskers, his phone buzzed. It was a name he hadn't seen in years, Michael, his son. He froze before answering. "Dad?" came the voice on the other end. Daniel's throat tightened. "Michael, it's been a long time." "I saw the picture," his son said softly. "What picture?" "Your housekeeper posted one of you and that cat. You look happy." Daniel chuckled nervously. "She kind of forced her way into my life." Michael laughed. "Guess she did what I couldn't." For a moment, both were silent. Then Daniel said the words he'd held for years. "I'm sorry, son." Michael's voice cracked. "I know, Dad. Maybe we can talk sometime." Daniel smiled through tears. "I'd like that." Weeks later, Whiskers fell sick. Daniel rushed her to the vet, heart pounding. The doctor sighed gently. "She's old, Mr. Morgan. We'll do our best, but her body's weak." Daniel sat by her side every night, whispering to her like a father to a child. He offered her everything: medicine, warmth, love. But no money could stop time. One morning, as sunlight touched her fur, Whiskers stopped breathing. Daniel held her close, tears falling freely. For years he had lost deals and fortunes, but this was the first real loss he ever felt. After Whiskers was gone, Daniel couldn't go back to his old life. He stopped checking stock charts. He stopped chasing numbers. He sat at his desk, wrote in his journal, "I thought success meant owning everything. But love was something I never learned to earn." Those words hit him like truth for the first time. So he made a decision, one that shocked everyone. He sold one of his companies and used the money to build the Whiskers Foundation, a shelter for stray animals and therapy pets for lonely seniors. No fancy ribbon cuttings, no press events, just quiet action, the kind that changes lives. Months later, Forbes requested an interview. "Mr. Morgan," the journalist asked, "you were once the toughest man on Wall Street. What changed you?" Daniel smiled softly and pulled a small photo from his wallet, Whiskers curled in his arms. He said, "One night a stray cat appeared on my balcony. I thought I was saving her, but she was saving me." He paused, then added, "She taught me that the richest life isn't the one filled with money. It's the one filled with love." The quote went viral. Millions shared it online with the hashtag Whiskers Effect, inspiring others to care, to give, to love. Years later, when Daniel passed away peacefully in his sleep, he left behind billions, but more importantly, hope. The Whiskers Foundation had saved over 200,000 animals and brought therapy pets to thousands of veterans and seniors who lived alone. On his desk, his assistant found one final handwritten note. "I once built empires out of greed, but it was love, soft, silent, unexpected, that built me again." Maybe that's what we forget, that love doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just meows softly at your door. Daniel Morgan had everything this world could offer, but it took one stray cat to teach him what truly matters, that success means nothing without someone to share it with. Remember, kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything.